Hey folks, all right, let's see. My day is really just messed up. I woke up way later than I was able to stream this morning, so I missed my art beat. I am slammed at work, but I wanted to make sure I had at least an hour to jump on and do some work today. Holy Hannah, that is a rich level of volume. I feel abundant. Let me take a minute here to update my social media triggers. I'm going to be pressing buttons and distracting you with my origin story here for approximately 2 minutes. So if you're interested in just cutting to the chase and you're in the future, you are certainly welcome to skip past my glarble-de-doo and get into the meat of it. But for those of us that are catching here in real time, live and direct, or if you're new to the channel and you don't know what I got going on here, allow me to distract you for a further moment and say, hi, my name is Phil Kearney. I create role-playing games, I illustrate them, I publish online, and I've been creating content for 5th edition. Basically since 2017. I've been a freelance illustrator since 1999. I've been a Magic the Gathering enthusiast since 1995. And I've been a DM for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition since 1987. So when Wizards started creating, finally in 5th edition, started creating crossover content from Magic the Gathering into D&D, back in 3rd edition, whenever they'd come up with a new concept, they'd have new mechanics and a bunch of like new magic items and prestige classes and full classes and feats, spells, monsters, magic items, like anything you could possibly think of that could do with whatever the new thing is. They would roll out in a hardbound, what they would call a splat book. Not delve into that concept. It would create new mechanical resources and ways to build your characters that can be meshed in with other multi-classing options to create completely new types of characters. So when they announced Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica in 2017, that was an encouragement that we were going to see Wizards, the authority on Magic the Gathering, and now as well D&D, basically establishing, this is what Magic the Gathering looks like in the D&D world. So we were expecting a replacement of the 8 schools with the 5 colors of Magic. We were expecting to see spell slots removed and a mana resource system introduced for spellcasting. None of that happened. It was just take the narrative of anything in Magic the Gathering and insert it into the mechanics that currently exist for 5e with the 8 schools, advancing in Magic, and the classes and subclasses as defined. Just if you want to play a Boros character, just say that they use light and fire magic, and then there you go. It was very unsatisfying for a lot of folks, including myself, that spent a lot of time in 3rd edition with these deep mechanical concepts and were excited to bring them into 5e. So when that didn't happen, that's what got me started to work. I will say, let's skip forward here. And then, so these are a bunch of books that I've created. The Color Mana Spell Point Variant Rule Bundle here on the DMsGuild, as well as Pacts and Patrons of Ravnica, are specific products that we've made that coincide with Magic the Gathering. And for those that are interested, on the X Twitter platform at Phil Kearney, you can take a closer look at illustrations, links, coupons, and announcements when I'm live like I am right now. And on YouTube, if you want to support the channel, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon to get notifications of when we are live in the future. Here's a full playlist of all 161 episodes of us building the martial power system. And here's the playtest content here. It's on my Patreon. You do not have to be a member of the Patreon to access it, but if you click here, that'll take you to here now. Hey guys. Otherwise, you can click on martial powers, and that'll take you to the playtest document as a Google Doc. For you, it will be a read-only document, but I will be engaging this content directly today. So let's see. When we left off, we were working on the Ranger, and just to refamiliarize folks briefly here, we're building out martial powers, which powers are an alternate magic system that's different from spellcasting. It was first introduced in 3rd edition with the Book of 9 Swords, which was an amazing splat book that basically provided a 20-level progression for martial characters to be able to have essentially martial magic, which are non-spellcasting, physically based things that you would be doing, like making attacks, moving, dodging, hiding, whatever. When you're taking actions, you could then use a power to embellish or enhance whatever it is that you were doing. So we're reintroducing that idea. It was kind of codified in 4E as martial powers, and there were multiple books titled martial powers in 4th edition. But to say martial powers and spellcasting in 4th edition was basically, it was all the same thing. You didn't actually have like spells in 4th edition per se. They just had a stack of like wizard assigned powers and fighter assigned powers. But like at 7th level, both of them, it would be like, when you make an attack roll 3 damage dice and add your class stat. Like for a fighter, that would be strength, and for a wizard, that would be intelligence. And it's like do 3d6 damage as a fighter or 3d6 as a wizard, and add your stat modifier. Hit a target up to 30 feet away. Like that's. It was too homogenized, which was one of the biggest problems with 4E. It's just how homogenized all of the classes felt over 30 levels, not just 20. So, but taking that idea of having a parallel magic system that marshals could use instead of spellcasters, allow us to build a mana resource from color that allows us to have all 13 classes using that same mana resource to express our characters. So a barbarian would get a pool of mana that could be spent on barbarian powers, while a sorcerer would have a pool of points that could be spent on sorcerer spells and abilities. And if you had a barbarian sorcerer multi-class character, they could blend their mana pool together using this system. And depending on how you want to lean into stuff, obviously barbarians with rage can't concentrate or cast spells, but they can channel power and sustain powers. So you could lean into barbarian stuff while you're raging. Outside of rage, a sorcerer character could be like massive utility stuff. So like that's an example. And they're all using half casting progression. It's all short rest mana, kind of like the monk in the Warlock, in which you gain 1 point per level, up to 20 points at 20th level, with various means of being able to cheat in additional mana between your short and long rests. The power die is like a inspiration die, martial arts die, superiority die that can be used to, like when you spend mana, you make a modifier. Like if I'm going to modify my saving throw, like a D20 test, and like say I'm 9th level and I'm rolling a D8. If I were to spend like 1 mana, I'd roll 1 D8. If I spent 3 mana, I'd roll 3 D8. And if it was damage, I'd add them together and add it to my damage. If it was modifying a D20 test, I'd roll 3 dice and keep the best one and modify my D20 that way. So we can stay within the bounded accuracy curve of ranging from basically 1 to 31 on a DC stat block. And these martial powers are having you spend resources to attempt to succeed at those die rolls by adding bonuses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 capping at 17th level with a D10. The monk, of course, uses a D12 now, so the monk can use their martial arts die instead of the power die. So they're D6, D8, D10, and then D12. The amount of powers that you prepare on a long rest. You can prepare a number of power. You can swap a number of prepared powers per long rest equal to the max rank of power that you've gained as a character. So a 9th level character has 12 powers and can swap 3 of them. A 17th level character has 20 powers and can swap 5 of them. If you see a pattern, there you go. It's very intuitively fell into that pattern. And then, of course, we have our short rest mana regain. And then each class has its own stack of powers. Here's all the different 178 different powers that we have in the book up front for you guys to see what you can do with power and the relative cost of doing so. Many of these powers require you to spend anywhere from 1 to 5 mana, called disciplines, broken into 5 different categories of exploits, modifying, action economy, and die rolls. Maneuvers are things that you can do as an action or a bonus action. Reactions are reactions that have triggering conditions that you do, either during your turn or somebody else's. Strikes modify attack rolls, and you can always use a strike when you hit with a weapon attack, including unarmed strikes and natural weapons. Whether during your turn as a bonus action or as a reaction, if you hit something, you can spend mana to deal more damage. Just like the 5e1 for the original 5th edition paladin could. And of course, the paladin has ways of hyping that as well. And then sustained powers are basically like concentration, sustained effects that you don't have to spend concentration on, and you can stack them. And all of these mana systems here, if you haven't seen it, the 5 color mana spell point variant rules on DMsGuild here. You can read all of these books. If you think they're cool, consider making a purchase. But one of the ideas in the core mechanics book is the idea of stacking concentration. So if you're a 9th level wizard and with access to 5th level spells, you could have up to 5 levels worth of spells that you concentrate on at the same time. Like haste is a 3rd level spell, and say like a wall of like fog cloud is a 2nd level spell. You could sustain both of them for a total of 5 mana that you have tapped. But now your concentration DC becomes 10 plus the amount of mana tapped, which is 15. So you would have a DC concentration check of 15, and you would make that check when you take damage. If half the damage that you take is less than 15, then it's DC 15. Otherwise, half damage or your DC, whichever is higher. And it's also whenever you make a saving throw. So whenever your character makes a saving throw, whether they succeed the saving throw or not, if the result isn't at least 15 for that wizard we're using as an example, you lose all your spells. So a wizard or any spellcaster has to pay attention to how much risk are they facing when they juice up on a bunch of spells that they want to concentrate on to just layer enchantments onto themselves. Now all you gotta do is get dinged with a cantrip, or now a weapon mastery. All I have to do is hit you with like a tripping strike or something like that to knock you, to topple you. If you fail your dexterity saving throw, not only are you prone, but unless you rolled at least a 15, you're going to dump all your mana. You could avoid being tripped, but if your result was only a 14 and you stay on your feet, that's not 15. You now dump your mana. So that's a big risk that spellcasters can choose to have great reward. The word I'm looking for is the sustained power system. You don't have to maintain concentration, so there's no risk there, but the rewards are far less significant because you're a half caster. They do less. They're not designed. They weren't designed with a 17th level wizard in mind, and should a ranger or paladin get access to this? No, it's beyond their power curve. Like we rebuilt the power curve, so these things are realistically things that you can just add on to your character and be sustainable. So there anyway. So there's a 100, and then there's a bunch of powers that don't require mana at all, which are called meta powers. These include combat masteries, like weapon masteries. You can use them on any weapon when you prepare them. If you're proficient with a weapon and have the channeling class feature as a martial character, you can automatically use the weapon that is associated with the weapon you're proficient with. Other non-channeling classes have to spend feats to do so, or dip into a martial class to get access to those masteries, which might not be worth anything to them because they're probably not going to be throwing a weapon around a lot. They're probably going to be casting spells, so the masteries aren't really useful to them, but they're just prepared for us martial casters that can make extensive use of them. And then the new feats in the player's handbook, there's 40 of them. That you can gain as powers instead. So like at low levels when you don't have a lot of mana, you just add a bunch of feats. You don't get the ability score increases associated with the feats, but you also don't have any prerequisites. So you can take any of these feats as prepared powers at first or higher level. And of course, epic feats aren't included with these. And then there's a few meta power feats that we've created that are dotted in there as well. And then the other type of meta power feat is just magical damage as a power. If you prepare cold damage at first level, whenever you make an attack with a weapon you're proficient with, you can just deal cold damage. And by the time you get to 5th level, they're advanced damage types. Most martial classes have some sort of means of dealing force or radiant damage by 5th level already. This is just if you prepare the ability to deal force damage, then whenever you make an attack with a weapon you're proficient with, you can deal force damage. And so now we have a real cat and mouse game of creatures and NPCs that the teams are challenging, having immunities and resistances as well as vulnerabilities and lethalities against different damage types. So if you can figure out what an opponent is resistant or immune to, you know not to use that damage type. If you can find out if they have any vulnerabilities or lethalities, then you can key into that damage type to play your character. So like lethality basically is if you get hit and take any damage from this type of damage, it kills you. So basically, if a creature has a lethality, it is now a minion against that type of damage. And you could just have minions that it doesn't matter what kind of damage they take. If they take any damage, they die. Versus a lethality, which is this creature would normally be powerful, but if you know to use this type of damage, it is now considered a minion. So you can stack or decrease the level of difficulty against creatures based on what level of immunity they may or vulnerability that they have. So that's a quick crash course in how the powers work, and of course you have full access to the entire document to chew on and review here in the Martial Power playtest content linked here. So we are working currently on the Ranger, and if you were here with us last session, episode 160, which was Thursday night on September 30th, 2024, we went through the entire stack of features that the Ranger got, removed the ones that had been rendered irrelevant because fighting styles and feat acquisitions is now just a part of powers that you can have. You don't need to have a weapon mastery select option, and you don't have to have a fighting style selection. Although the Ranger has unique fighting styles, because they're unique, we have to list them in the properties. So we go through all of those details about mana, channeling mana, spellcasting, mixing channeling and spellcasting for the Rangers, as well as the revised Hunter's Mark, which is now a sustained effect called Mark of Prey, which has its base feature at first level, then advances at 5th, 9th, 13th, and 17th, corresponding with the advanced levels of power that you gain. The fighting styles come in at level 2, 6, and 10. And then the Foe Slayer class feature at 20th, we use a variant feature, which basically upgrades you to a D12 on attacks, perception, investigation, as well as the damage die that you add when you hit your opponent. So it scales naturally from D6, D8. It goes from a D6 to a D8 to a D10, and then here it becomes a D12 technically if you're using Hunter's Mark, or Mark of Prey. But at 20th level, you the only way that once you turn Mark of Prey on, the only way it gets turned off is if you die or choose to dismiss it yourself. But it does take up one mana of a sustained power. So if you're sustaining Mark of Prey at first level, that's all you're sustaining. So there's a balance effect there. By 5th level, you can sustain Mark of Prey as a first rank power, and then you can start stacking on first level or first rank sustained powers on top of it. So Ranger's core class features kind of slows their roll a little bit, but they gain a lot of power. Basically, they gain free strike powers whenever they hit a marked target with an attack roll. They get an extra die of damage for free that can trigger any first rank power that you've learned as a strike. Like here's like 17 strike powers that are 14 first rank powers that if you learn any of these, your paladin, when they hit a marked target, they deal the extra die of damage. They can trigger a 1 mana effect, like a goading strike. For 1 mana, when you hit your Mark of Prey, you automatically deal 1 die of goading strike damage if you use goading strike, which is you deal a power die of damage, which is at first level is a d6, and the creature that you strike has disadvantage on any attacks made that don't target you, and the effect ends if they hit you or if they succeed an intelligence saving throw at the end of each of their turns. And the hard duration for all of these things is 1 minute. So if they can't save their way out of something after a minute, it just naturally ends anyway. You could obviously re-trigger it and perpetuate the duration by just tapping them within the minute to up the duration, and then they have to continue rolling over and pushing forward. But it's 1 o'clock now, so I think I got a solid hour ahead of me. Let me double check my timestamps here. Hold on, real quick. Let me drop down here and look at my timing today. Yep, I've got a good solid hour or so for me to be able to mess around inside of the system some more. So when we last left off, let's go down here. Let's peel that out. We were into here. We were going into classes, and let's go down to the Ranger here on D&D Beyond. And we're going to look at Ranger Subclasses. We went through the Beastmaster last night, and that's where we ended it. And so if you didn't have an opportunity to check that out, super freaking cool Beastmaster shit we've got going on now. Let's push Conclaves of Power down to the next page. You gain bonus powers, and you get a total of 10. Some of the Ranger subclasses gain a small list of spells. So like the Fey Wanderer gains 5 spells. So they keep those bonus spells, but the Fey Wanderer that we have down here next is also going to gain a stack of 5 powers that they can learn, or that they automatically have prepared whenever they, they always have those prepared, and it doesn't count against the stack of 23 spells that they can know otherwise. When a okay, cool. So let's start going through the features for the way Fey Wanderer, and see where we end up at. So we have features, which is the power list, and then we have bonus spell list 5, bonus power list 5. Let's do that like this. On person, Misty Step, Summon Fey, Dimension Door, and Mislead. So those are the 5 spells we get. Here's the 5 powers that we get. So you get a total of 10 bonus things to add to your list. Dreadful Strikes. When you hit your marked prey with a weapon attack, you can choose to deal psychic damage. Let's see. Let's get into the official list of stuff. They have Otherworldly Glamour and Beguiling Twist. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the key features and what we've had to update and change, because this was using 2014 rules. So we're going to update this for the 2025 rules, 2024 rules. And then we'll look at this list of powers to see if they still make sense for the character to use. So we're already seeing a little bit of change in here. Beguiling Twist has been moved forward to 3rd. Level 3, Beguiling Twist. Let's go through our stack first. Misty Wanderer, Otherworldly Glamour. I don't know why Otherworldly Glamour is listed before Beguiling Twist. Level 3. If anyone is hanging out and quietly in the audience, be welcome to like and drop hello down in chat here. I never know if I'm alone in the world or if I got folks hanging out with me until someone says hey. So I'd love to have that. But yeah, I'm really frustrated that the features don't have, like, there's no list here of what levels you're supposed to gain these features. How am I supposed to know? Like, is Otherworldly Glamour and Beguiling Twist, are those both 3rd level features? And wait, okay, so we have Misty Wanderer, Fey Reinforcements, Beguiling Twist, and Otherworldly Glamour. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. I have to assume that this is, like, Beguiling Twist is now, I guess, level 7. And Fey Reinforcements. Maybe that's level 13 Fey Reinforcements. And then Misty Wanderer. Level 17. Is that what it is? 3, 7, 13, 17? That doesn't sound right. 3, 7, 3, 7, 11. Thank you. 3, 7, 11, 15. 3, 7, 11, 15. I should know this because it's here. 3, 3, 7, 11, 15. 3, 7, 11, 15. Okay, cool. So those are our bits. What does Otherworldly Glamour do for us? And let's see if we have to change it. Whenever you make a charisma check, you gain a bonus to the check equal to your wisdom modifier. You also gain proficiency in one of these skills of your choice: deception, performance, or persuasion. Otherworldly Glamour. So when you make a charisma check, you gain a bonus equal to the max rank of power gained as a ranger. So it'll start at 1, and it'll eventually become +5. In addition, you gain the skilled feat, gaining proficiency in deception, performance, and persuasion. If you have any of these already, you can choose a different skill, tool, or language. So I gave you all 3 of them. So maybe that somehow breaks the ranger. I can't imagine that it would. Period, space, blip. There. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Beguiling Twist. Whew, the magic of the Feywild guards your mind. You have advantage on saving throws to avoid or end charmed and frightened conditions. Okay. Does that exist someplace else already? Let's just get rid of those. Okay, you have advantage to save against or end the effects of the, or end the charmed and frightened conditions. On saving throws to avoid or end. That cause the charmed and frightened conditions. Yeah, okay, that works. Fey reinforcement goes. Let's cut here and then paste there. Let's hit period here. Cut, paste. Space. Good. And double good. Okay, cool. So this is coming along. Nice and compact. Beguiling Twist. Oh, in addition, succeeds on a saving throw to avoid. Whenever you or a creature you can see within 120 feet of you succeeds on a saving throw to avoid or end the charmed or frightened condition, you can take a reaction to force a different creature you can see within 120 feet of yourself to make a wisdom saving throw against your spell save DC. On a failed save, the target is charmed or frightened for 1 minute. The target repeats the save at the end of each of its turns, ending the effect on itself on a success. Huh. Cool. In addition, whenever you or is it any creature? A creature You can see within 120 feet of you. Saves to avoid or end the charmed or frightened condition. You can use a reaction to target another creature you can see within 120 feet to make a save or against your channeling savings, channeling DC, against your channeling DC. If the target fails, they are charmed or frightened. Your choice. For 1 minute. They can make a wisdom saving throw. Is there a wisdom saving throw? Yeah. Of each. They can make another save at the end of each. At the end of each of its turns. If the target fails, it's charmed or frightened, your choice, for 1 minute. It can make another save at the end of each of its turns to end the effect. Period. Holy shit! Okay, there doesn't seem to be a time limit on this. So check this out. In addition, whenever you or a creature you can see within 120 feet of you succeeds on a saving throw to avoid or end the charmed or frightened condition, you can take a reaction to force a different creature you can see within 120 feet of yourself to make a wisdom save against your spell save DC. On a failed save, the target is charmed or frightened for 1 minute. The target repeats the save at the end of each of its turns, ending the effect on a success. So if my wizard casts Charm Person on a target, and that target fails, say that target succeeds, I can, as a reaction, automatically then target another creature. Let's say that target fails this round. But then next round, at the end of their turn, they succeed in ending the charm effect. I can then take that charm effect and put it back onto the original person. I could even hit you with a charmed effect. You let the charm effect take hold. And then next turn, you could end the saving throw by, say, make a save, or you ramp the save if you want to, or one of your allies say it's a monk, and the monk can automatically end the condition next round as part of their turn if they want to. And as soon as they do that, you can then use your reaction to take that charm and drop it onto the BBEG, who then also has to make a saving throw. And if they fail, great. If they succeed, it would be the same turn, so that would be over. But if they failed the first round and then the next round they succeed, I could then use my reaction to take that and then drop it on somebody else. So I can keep pushing charmed and frightened effects around the board. And we have plenty of charmed and frightened effects in this game to push around. That's actually a really fucking cool ability. And it doesn't even have a limit. It has no limit to how often you can use that. So you could build a team built around charmed and fear effects and have your Fey Wanderer basically double dip those effects and keep spamming them across other allies. Especially if you take the Opportunist Sustain Power, which you could swap all of your attacks to gain extra reactions, which you could then use here to bounce a charm spell from target to target during their turns as they succeed or fail a die roll. You would then be able to use your extra reactions to spam and drop that that charm or fear effect across different targets. God, that's really really cool. Sequencing can be an issue, but the fact that you can occasionally do it with minimal coordination, A, you can coordinate with your team. That's awesome. But B, it gives that character so much freaking utility. That is super cool. Especially if you have like Curse of Branding on them, which makes them, or like, Curse of Branding, which gives them disadvantage on any saving throws coming from you. That's just a cool ability. All right, I'm really geeking out over that. Let's move on before I get too lost in the weeds of coolness. Fey Reinforcements. You can cast the Summon Fey without a material component. You can also cast it once without a spell slot, and you regain the ability to cast it in this way when you finish a long rest. Whenever you start casting the spell, you can modify it so that it doesn't require concentration. If you do so, the spell's duration becomes 1 minute for that casting. You can cast Summon Fey without a material component. You can also cast it once. Okay, let's go look at the Summon Fey power to see what I can do to make some interesting power. My brain is immediately saying, hey, what if we made that a sustained power so it sticks around? It is, what is it, 13th level that we get access to this? It's 11th level, okay. So it's 3rd level. Okay. You can call forth a Fey Spirit. It manifests in an unoccupied space that you can see within range and uses the Fey Spirit stat block. 30 hit points plus 10 for each spell level above 3rd. So it's 30 hit points. Deals on average 10 damage-ish. Face up 30 feet. Based on the spirit's chosen mood. I like that wording. Fuming. Advantage on the next attack roll. Mirthful. DC equal to spell save DC. Once one creature of spirit can see within 10 feet of itself. Failure. The target is charmed. And Trixie. The spirit fills a 10-foot cube within 5 feet of it with magical darkness, which lasts until the end of its next turn. I'm really happy with that. Yeah. Okay. So, okay. So yeah, we're gonna make this a sustained power instead of a spell. Fey Reinforcements. You can cast Summon Fey without a material component. You can also cast it once without a spell slot, and you regain the ability to cast it this way when you finish a long rest. Whenever you start casting this spell, you can modify it. Okay, so Fey Reinforcements. You can now sustain instead of casting Summon Fey as a 3rd level spell, you can now channel it as a 3rd rank sustained power. It's 11th level. It's going to eat all 3 of the mana that you hold. So you could bring this in, but you aren't able to sustain Hunter's Mark with it at the same time. And it becomes a permanent companion on the board when you get to 13th level, when you can channel 4th rank powers. At that point, you'd be able to have both Hunter's Mark, Mark of Prey, and Fey Reinforcements active at the same time. But you can do it as early as 11th level. If you aren't anticipating any combat during the next short rest, you can, there you go. You can turn it on. You can have your companion kicking with you all day. You can now channel it as a 3rd rank sustained power. Yeah, I think I'm content with that. So, which basically means it's really difficult to it has to be dispelled. You can't have your concentration taken away because it's sustained. The ability already allows you to do so without concentration as written, but it only lasts for 1 minute when you do so. This is not a hardcore combat character. It's a cool little utility thing. It's no more powerful than a beast companion that the Beastmaster gets, except this requires you to sustain or maintain concentration for. So neat little ability. I like it. Misty Wanderer. You can cast Misty Step without expending a spell slot. You can do so a number of times equal to your Wisdom modifier, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. In addition, whenever you cast Misty Step, you can bring along 1 willing companion. Okay, you can cast Misty Step without spending mana. You can do so a number of times equal to the max rank of power gained as a ranger, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. In addition, whenever you cast Misty Step, you can bring along 1 willing creature you can see within 5 feet of you. That creature teleports to an unoccupied space of your choice within 5 feet of the destination space. Yeah, I have no issue. I have no issue with that as it stands. And so that caps all the cool features. Two. Rune Stalker 1, 2. Okay, so let's go over the list of Fey Wanderer options real quick to see if there's anything that we like. Let's go with I'm gonna swap this psychic damage to here, and then the mobile feat Does mobile still exist? Inquiring minds do want to know. Let's check our list to see if it's still up there. No. Huh. Okay, well, we can get... Well, I see it. Skulker's in here twice. Okay, so that leaves a spot open. So psychic damage makes sense. Let's go look at Psionic Strike again, because there may be stuff that's super useful in there. Psionic Strike. Your weapon can deal force or psychic damage and add 1. Okay, so yeah, let's just swap this back. And it's the mobile feat we're getting rid of. Omnilinguist, that still exists. Let's go to Omnilinguist. Come on, Turkey. Delusional Strike. Let's see. We have Beguiling Twist come in at 7. So Delusional Strike feels good for 9. Auto Attunement. feels okay. And looks like we get to find another feature. So let's go. Let's go feature hunting, shan't we? High-end stuff. What we got way up here? Master of Fate ain't bad. When you channel his power, roll 3 dice. That's tricksy stuff. I like the idea of, let's see. We get Charm Person at 3rd level. That's a charm effect, but we don't have a fear effect. So, Delusional Strike, I think that still exists, right? We may have actually gotten rid of that. Hold on. Let's see if that's been replaced. 2nd rank? Dazing Strike. When you hit, your weapon can deal psychic damage and add 1 power die per mana burn, and the target must make a con save. If it fails, you can only do one of the following: move, or take an action, or a bonus action. Intimidating Strike. Target becomes frightened. Provoking Strike. Creatures immune to charm save with advantage. Your die can deal psychic damage and add 1 power die per damage. The creature can only attack you as a... It's kind of a charm effect. I like it. Provoking. Okay, so provoking strike is they can only attack you, and they have to succeed a saving throw. The creature can only attack you until you lose line of sight or you are incapacitated. The creature can attempt to end this effect by succeeding a Wisdom saving throw at the end of each of its turns. Creatures immune to charm save with disadvantage. You lose until you lose sight of the target. In the effect, and of course it just naturally ends after a minute. Provoking Strike is actually a really great one. Delusional Strike is gone, so let's see, and that's at, yeah. So let's go with Provoking Strike. CR3. Don't feel like auto attunement is necessarily representative of them at this point. So let's see, is there another... We've got a charm effect. No, we have a fear effect. No, that's Provoking Strike. That's technically not a fear effect. So let's take that and push it to 13. We don't have to have 1 at 3, 2 at 5, 3 at 9, 4 at 13. It's just not necessary. We put things in when it feels like it's appropriate to put them in. So I want to have a fear effect in here, and I'm really considering Provoking Strike and things like that to be considered charm effects. Strongly considering it. Let's look at some of these effects here. Deadly Presence. While sustained power, you're not restrained, stunned, paralyzed, or incapacitated. Begins turns, takes damage around you. No, that's not what I want. No, 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 no. Daunting Presence is what I was thinking of. When you sustain, while sustaining this power, attacks targeting you by creatures you can see roll with disadvantage. And when you are the only target of an effect, that requires you to make a saving throw. In addition, while sustaining this power, you gain 1 mana. You can spend 1 mana and target a creature as a bonus action. If the target fails a Wisdom saving throw, it is frightened of you. That's a sustained effect, and it's a 3rd rank sustained effect. That's going to clash with the Summoning Fey, the Fey reinforcement option at 3rd rank. So I don't want to do that. Let's go into a maneuver. That might be a good idea. 2nd rank maneuver to scare people. Let's see. Double Strike, Quick Utility, Regenerate, Beguiling Trance. You can target a creature that you can see to make a Wisdom saving throw. If it fails, it is charmed and cannot take actions until you no longer see it. You can move beyond the range of the power. It takes damage, or it succeeds a Wisdom saving throw at the end of each of its turns. Another creature can use an action to shake the creature, ending the effect early. Okay, Beguiling Trance is actually a really good one. Maneuver 3. So this is a point and click effect. So you choose a target, and if it doesn't have a range listed, it's always within 60 feet unless it specifies otherwise. So you can target a creature within 60 feet that you can see. Makes a saving throw. If it fails, it's basically sleeped. It's charmed sleeped. Can't do anything until it takes damage. It is charmed and cannot take actions until you no longer see it. You move beyond the range of the power. It takes damage, or it succeeds a Wisdom saving throw. It takes damage, or it succeeds a Wisdom saving throw at the end of each of its turns. Another creature can use an action to shake the creature, ending the effect early. Okay, cool. I'm happy with that. Now that leaves us with only one capstone, quote-unquote, capstone feature to drop in on to this dude. Let's look at higher ranks. Ooh, Wave of Terror. You can choose any number of creatures you can see within 60 feet of you to make a Wisdom saving throw. Each creature that fails is frightened of you. The effect ends for a creature when it succeeds a Wisdom saving throw at the end of each of its turns, or it can no longer see you. That should be a modification, or it can no longer see you. Until it can no longer see you, or you are incapacitated, the creature can attempt to end the effect by succeeding a Wisdom saving throw at the end of each of its turns. The creature is immune to charm. Save with advantage. Okay. Good improvement. Intimidating Strike. Until it can no longer see you. Anything where I have line of sight needs to be replaced with until you can no longer see you. So let's go to Distracting Strike, Goading Strike. You can an attack made doesn't target you. The effect ends if it can no longer see you. When it successfully hits you with an attack, or when it successfully hits you with an attack, period, the creature can attempt to end the effect early by succeeding an intelligence saving throw at the end of each of its turns. Okay, cool. Subtle refinements. Cool. Okay, so let's see. Wave of Terror is a pretty good one. Beguiling Trance, Provoking Strike, Wave of Terror. It's a bunch of fear and charm effects. I'm liking that vibe because of what its class features allows it to bend into. Let's double check real quick to see if there's something else that's juicy. target, curse of the puppet, castigate. Castigate's not a bad choice. And it's a good capper, I think. Let's go check out what is that? Reaction? No, is that a maneuver or a sustained effect? Let's go check maneuvers. You curse a creature that you can see to roll attacks and ability checks with disadvantage. Cursed brand. You choose a creature you can see to make saving throws against you with disadvantage. The effect ends when the creature succeeds a save against you. Cursed brand isn't bad. Cursed brand is actually pretty good. That is maneuver 2. Provoking strike at 17. You could pick up Cursed Brand as early as 5th level, but by 17th, it's just a part of your kit. Your Beguiling Trance, your Provoking Strike, your Provoking Strike, your Beguiling Trance. Let's double check how the power is written. Is it generic enough to have already covered? You curse a creature that you can see to make a saving throw against to make saving throws against you with disadvantage. There, so that applies to saving throws as well. So we have the Charm Person, Beguiling Trance, Provoking Strike. Those are 3 charm effects that are built directly into the character class, and then Cursed Brand. When you target a creature with that, they'll make these saving throws at disadvantage. That's pretty fucking useful. Yeah. Okay, cool. I'm happy with that. We may find better options in the future, but for now, I think that's pretty slick. So, hey, Fey Wanderer is done. Let's move on to the Gloomstalker. Where are we at on time? 1:44. We've been at this for, what, about an hour? It's 1:44. We still have... we got the Fey Wanderer done. We can probably get done with the Gloomstalker and potentially the Hunter as well. So let's go down and take a look at what's going on with ye old Gloomstalker. Gloomstalker does get some spells. Bonus spell list. And so these are Disguise Self, Rope Trick, I love that, Fear, Greater Invisibility, and Seeming. So far, so good. So what? Features. Umbral Sight. These have changed. Shadowy Dodge, Stalker's Flurry, Iron Mind, and Umbral Sight. Level 3. Umbral Sight. Level 7. Iron Mind. Stalker's Flurry. Level 11. Thank you. So we got 20, 25, maybe 30 minutes left. We'll see. Stalker's Flurry, and then level 15. Yeah. And then Shadowy Dodge. All right, Umbral Sight. You gain dark vision with a range of 60 feet. 60 feet. You already have dark vision. The range extends an additional 60 feet. In addition, when you are in complete darkness, you are invisible to any creature with dark vision. Period. I believe dark vision is supposed to be capitalized now. Yep. You gain wisdom save. Let's see. In addition, when you are in complete dark vision, when entirely in darkness, you are invisible to any creature there. Level 7, Iron Mind. You have owned your ability to resist mind-altering powers. You gain proficiency in Wisdom saving throw. If you already have this proficiency, you instead gain Intelligence or Charisma saving throws, your choice. You instead gain intelligence or charisma saves, your choice. All right, Stalker's Flurry. Psychic damage. The psychic damage of your dreadful... Oh, Dread Ambusher was listed before Gloomstalker spells. That's weird. Okay, Dread Ambusher's back on the table. I wish I hadn't deleted it. Silly Kearney. Does that mean, did I miss something on Fey Wanderer then too? Dreadful Strikes. Fuck you. Alright, Dreadful Strikes. Dreadful Strikes, Dread Ambusher. Is there a difference? Who knows? Alright. You can augment your weapon attacks with Mind Scarring magic drawn from the murky hollows of the Feywild. When you hit a creature with a weapon, you can deal an extra D4 psychic damage to the target, which can take the extra damage only once per turn. The extra damage increases to D6 when you reach level 11. No, well, we're going to use Power Dice instead. We already have the Psionic Strike that deals psychic damage. And when you hit a target that is marked as your prey. You automatically deal 1 rank of strike damage, which at first level will be a D6. It will eventually be a D12 with the Foe Slayer feature at 20th level. And Psionic Strike, and of course you could put up to 5 mana into it at 17th level. So it starts off as a single D12, which you get for free with Hunter's Mark, with Mark of Prey, and then you can tack on another 4 points of mana on top of it and deal a total of 5. The Foe Hunter feature gives you 2 free dice of damage, so then you could add on another 3 at 20th level, making it less expensive. But Dreadful Strikes, since we already have Psionic Strike built into the ability, into Mark of Prey, now it's going to be Dreadful Strikes. Whenever you deal damage with a weapon you're proficient with, you can deal psychic damage. Or you can choose to deal psychic damage. There you go. Period. Easy. All right, back into the Gloomstalker, Dread Ambusher. You've mastered the art of creating fearsome ambushes, granting you the following abilities: Ambusher's Leap, at the start of your first turn in combat, your speed increases by 10 feet until the end of your turn. Okay. Dreadful Strike. And initiative bonus. You add your wisdom and Dreadful Strike. When you attack a creature and hit with a weapon, you can deal an extra 2d6 psychic damage. You can use this benefit only once per turn. You can use it a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier and regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. When you attack a creature and hit it with a weapon, you can deal an extra 2d6 psychic damage, and that's on top of... No, that's not on top of anything. When you attack a creature... Yeah, this is a Gloomstalker. Psychic damage. Where'd you go? There. Psychic damage. Psionic Strike. Psychic damage. Martial Strike. Okay, so Dreadful Strike gives you what, wisdom bonus, or is it proficiency bonus? Wisdom modifier. Minimum of once. Okay, assuming an 18 wisdom, you can do this 4 times per long rest. It gives you 8 dice worth of damage. The hunter's mark or the Foslet of the mark of prey gives you D6 forever. Let's look up hunter's mark to see how it's limited. Naturally mark a creature until the end of turn. You deal an extra D6 force damage to the target whenever you hit it with an attack roll. You also have advantage on any wisdom checks if you find it. If the target drops to 0, you can switch targets. And it lasts a longer duration if you increase the spell slot spend. Let's change it to this. Whenever you deal damage to your prey, with a weapon you're proficient with, you can deal an extra power die of damage and choose deal psychic damage and add an additional power die of damage to the whenever you channel a strike to damage your marked prey with a weapon you're proficient with, you're automatically using a weapon you're proficient with when you channel a strike power to damage your marked prey. You can deal psychic damage and add an additional power die. When you roll damage. So this gives you, assuming an 18 wisdom, you're going to get 8 extra dice per long rest. If you use this system, you're going to get, whenever you hit your marked prey, you're going... Whenever you channel a strike to damage your marked prey during your turn, you can deal psychic damage and add an additional power die when you roll damage. So it has to be a marked prey. So you're going to be restricted by bonus actions swapping movement around. At 11th level, you'll be able to do it once for free. So whenever you channel a strike power to damage your marked prey during your turn, you can deal psychic damage and add 1 power die to your when you roll, and you can add an additional power die without expending any mana. Without increasing the rank of the strike. When you roll damage. This doesn't increase the rank of the strike. Doing so doesn't increase the rank of the strike. You can roll dice, you can roll power dice of damage, or you can channel a strike, which rolls power dice of damage. But you're capped in your rank depending on your level of character. So a third level Dread Ambusher, a third level Gloomstalker has a cap of first rank, so they can only roll, they can only use one mana to create a first rank strike to add damage to your attack roll. But with this Dreadful Strike feature, it is going to allow you to deal additional damage. So we better go back to the Fey. Let's go back to the Fey Wanderer and look at its Dreadful Strike feature. You can augment your weapon strikes with your minus card magic. It only does D6 extra damage with Dreadful Strikes versus Dreadful Strike, which is different. That's some nimbly wording there. Whenever you deal damage with a weapon you're proficient with, you can choose to deal psychic damage. This feels overtuned. Whenever you deal damage with a weapon you're proficient with, you can choose to deal psychic damage. Yeah, it's just you're already getting a ton of value from the martial power system. This is a feature nerf to stay, I think, to help remain in curve. Extra D4. Yeah, I'm okay with that. It's a little nerfy, but I'm fine with it. Umbral Sight, Iron Mind, Stalker's... where are we at? Iron Mind, cool. Stalker's Flurry. So what does Stalker's Flurry do now? The psychic damage of your Dreadful Strike becomes 2d8. In addition, when you use a Dreadful Strike effect of your Dread Ambusher feature, you can cause one of the following additional effects. Sudden Strike. You can make another attack with the same weapon against a different creature that is within 5 feet. Thanks for the warning. It is 2:06, so I've got a little less than... I should be out of here before 20 minutes. Mass Fear. The target and each creature within 10 feet of it must make a Wisdom saving throw. Subtle Channeling, Alert, Martial Strike, Curse of the Clouded Mind, Assassinating Damage. I love all of these things. I see no reason to change any of those. Iron Mind is good, Stalker's Flurry, and then Shadowy Dodge. So, okay, Stalker's Flurry. When you hit your prey with a weapon attack, you can choose one of the additional features. Sudden Strike. That is within 5 feet of the original attack. And this says once per round, right? Let's see. Sudden Strike. And then Mass Fear. Your prey and each I don't like it as creatures. That also includes your allies within 10 feet. I don't like that. Your prey must make a wisdom saving throw or be frightened. End of its next turn. When you hit your prey with a once on each of your turns, when you hit your prey with a weapon attack, you can make another attack against. You can immediately make an attack against another creature within 5 feet of your prey that's within reach of your against another creature within 5 feet of your prey with the same weapon. That is within the reach of the same weapon. Period. Once on each of your turns, when you hit your prey with a weapon attack, you can immediately make an attack against another creature within 5 feet of your prey that is within the reach of the same weapon. Using the same weapon against another creature within 5 feet of your prey that is also within the reach of the same weapon. That you can hit reach. I'm okay with that. It's a slight nerf, but there's so much power that we're getting. I mean, literal, so much additional power that it's okay. Most of these features they're doing is because they know that the Ranger is weak and they need to spruce it up. We've already spruced up the Ranger considerably, so we can scale back these features a little bit. People can always override me if they want to, but I'm pretty sure I'm on point with this. When the creature makes an attack roll against you, you can take a reaction to impose disadvantage on the roll. Whether the attack hits or misses, you can then teleport up to 30 feet to an occupied space you can see. Is that as it's written already? Well, whenever a creature attacks you without the benefit of advantage, you can use an opportunity attack to impose disadvantage on the roll before you know the result of the attack. No. When a creature makes an attack roll against you, roll against you. A reaction to impose disadvantage on the roll. Whether the attack hits or misses, you can then teleport to an unoccupied space within 30 feet. That you can see within 30 feet, period. Okay, cool. And now we can, oh, there it is. When you roll initiative, your speed increases by 10. In addition, you can make an extra attack against your marked prey. Starting at 5th level, this additional attack can be sacrificed to gain an additional 3 point of mana. Strike power targeting the marked prey in combination with empower strikes. Wow. Okay, let's remove that. Simplify, simplify, simplify. Gain dark vision. Whenever you deal damage with a weapon you're proficient with, you can choose to deal psychic damage. You add your channeling ability bonus to your initiative rolls. You gain dark vision, and you're invisible to others in with dark vision and total darkness. You gain wisdom save proficiency, or if you're proficient already, you gain something else. When you hit your prey with a weapon attack, you can choose one of the additional features. Sudden Strike. Once on each of your turns, when you hit your prey with a weapon attack, you can immediately make an attack using the same weapon against another creature within 5 feet of your prey that is within reach of the same weapon. Your prey, or the prey must make a wisdom saving throw. If it fails, it has a frightened condition. Until the end of its next turn. Free and spammable. Yeah. Okay. I think I'm happy with that. Hunter. So yeah, Hunter's the last one. So when we are back, we're going to, under normal circumstances, we're here every morning. I had a mishap with my alarm clock this morning, so I did not have the opportunity to stream this morning, but I will be back tomorrow morning to continue streaming Eberron token art. On Thursday, I'll be back doing more Eberron token art. And then Thursday afternoon, we'll be playing some basic D&D with Wally DM and Fred Wheeler from How to RPG, and hopefully some other guest players. And then after that, I'll jump back on stream here for the night, and we'll take care of the Hunter, and then begin prep work for the Paladin. And then on Friday morning, we'll be back to do more Eberron art. Friday lunchtime, we'll continue delving through the Paladin, and if we aren't done, we probably won't be done with subclasses immediately. So on Saturday morning, when we do our brunch stream, I anticipate finishing the Paladin and then diving back into the Warlock. So far so good. Everything's coming along. I want to make sure that I give Hunter the time it's going to deserve, because we are updating things here. And let's see, exceptional training, 7th level, you get an extra attack, damage, beguiling twist, charmed or frightened, misty wonder. Okay, I'm good with these. Yeah. Okay, I think we're doing okay. Cool. All right, so there's that. I'm out of here for today. I will be back tomorrow morning, assuming everything goes smoothly. So anyone that's interested in this stuff, A, thank you. B, check in the description down below for all the books that I've already created. You can look at the free previews. If you like them, buy them. As well as the Martial Powers playtest content that you are literally looking at right here, right now. And let's see. Yeah, join my Discord. If you want to support me further than the books, you can do so on Patreon as well. And thank you. I'm going to go ahead and bounce, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Cheers.